Oh, looks like it's been approximately 5 minutes since the last one, so you know what that means, guys. Time for some new LeBron James controversy. Yay! Psh, psh, fireworks, huzzah! Seriously, this man can't stay in the media for 30 seconds. But recently, LeBron James made a comment saying that he does not like the play-in tournament and that whoever came up with that shit needs to be fired. That's my LeBron James voice. I hope you liked it. Little bit ironic, little bit strange, considering just a year ago, LeBron James was apparently in favor of the play-in tournament when asked about it. He liked it last season, but now that his ass is the one who might fall out of the playoffs, all of a sudden he doesn't like it. Where have we seen this before? Oh yeah, Luka Doncic and the Mavs, like a few months ago. Seriously, every single time a team seems to fall into the play-in tournament, all of a sudden they don't like the rules. And yet, you get the teams who are in the lower half of the play-in tournament, and they like the rules. It's almost as if these people are biased towards the side that helps them more. Mind blown. But we're not here just to talk about LeBron James's point of view today, alright? Whether he's right or not is what I actually want to talk about. Is the play-in tournament a good idea? Because I actually kind of like the tournament, or I did when it first was announced. So I want to look back at it again and let you know what I think of it right now. So looking at the tournament and the way it's set up, pretty simple. If you haven't seen it already, I'll give you a very brief explanation. The way it currently works is the 7th and 8th seed teams play each other, and the loser of those the loser of that game ends up playing either the 9th or 10th seed team. Those teams play each other as well. I didn't explain this very good to start off. Okay, 9th and 10th seed, they play each other. The winner plays the 7th and 8th seed, who also played each other, and then the winner of those two games is the new 8th seed. Okay, that's how it works. It's 2 games to possibly change up the format and get an upset, and I like the idea. First of all, it's a 1-game series, and even though that is a little bit unfair, it also adds some interest to the start of the playoffs, because you got teams right now, you look at the East, the Pacers are the 9th seed, just barely behind the Hornets, and the Wizards are in there too. You get one more game in here that the fan bases of those teams are going to be really stressed about, and then it also is going to generate media clicks for the NBA if one team loses it, and you got Stephen A. Smith saying there, oh, it was a robbery that the Hornets are now out of the playoffs, or blah blah blah. Like, it's going to generate clicks, it's going to get the NBA more popularity, and that's a good thing from a business perspective. Meanwhile, in the West, it could potentially help the entertainment perspective. Now, you never expected the Lakers to fall this far, and I seriously doubt they're going to miss the playoffs due to the play-in. In fact, I really expect them to reclaim the 6th, if not the 5th seed, before the playoffs start. I know that's only like a week and a half away, but I really don't expect them to stay at the 7th seed. I think they're going to go higher. But you look at the seeding right now. The Grizzlies are the 8th seed, and the Warriors are the 9th seed. Well, people kind of like the Warriors more than the Grizzlies. Sorry, Grizzlies, but you existed in Canada before, and now you exist in Memphis. Nobody really cares, and yes, it is unfair to the Grizzlies just a little bit if the Warriors happen to beat them in the play-in, but even if they don't, win or lose, people are going to come to see that game because they want to see if Steph Curry's going to make the playoffs, and it gives potential for the better team to make the playoffs, because if you have a situation where let's say, for example, the Lakers do stay in the 7th seed. Or let's take something even crazier. Let's say LeBron and Anthony Davis missed like 80% of this season. Okay, LeBron missed as much time as AD, and the Lakers are currently the 10th seed. Well, obviously a healthy Lakers team would be at the top of the playoffs. They'd be contenders, right? So imagine if they missed the playoffs. Well, now you have an opportunity for them to win just 2 games and make it back into the playoffs. And you've got a team who is a legit contender who happen to have a very unfortunate season with a lot of injuries, and now they have a chance at the playoffs again because of this tournament. And that is why I really like the idea of the play-in tournament. I think it gives a lot of teams just a little bit more of an opportunity to get back in case of injuries, which is becoming a bigger problem seemingly every year in the NBA. You got more and more teams missing time with injuries. Let's say Klay Thompson came back like halfway through the season. Like, the Warriors were even worse than they already are, but then Klay Thompson came back. back like a month ago. Well, now obviously the Warriors should be in the playoffs. They're a good enough team, but they're not going to be because they were bad. But with the play-in tournament, they have a chance to make it in. I just think the idea is a situation where, yes, it's not perfect. They could definitely tweak it. They could definitely make it a little bit more difficult for the lower-seeded teams to get in. Maybe you need to make the play-in tourney, instead of being 2 games total in each conference, make it like 3, make it or 4. You know what I'm saying? Make it so like the bottom seed team has to beat the higher seed team twice to get in. But right now, I still think the positives do outweigh the negatives, and the play-in tournament is a good idea. So at the end of the day, the LeBron haters are right on this one. Bron is just kind of being a little bitch. He really is. He really is just being a little baby, and he needs to get over himself. I'm sorry your team fell to the 7th seed, but you just lost 2 straight games to the Raptors and the Kings, and neither of them were even all that close. Like, you have no one to blame here except yourself for not playing up to the standards you should be, and your teammates who are not playing up to the standards they should be. So, like, tough crap. Get over it and make the playoffs if you want to be there. I want to see the Lakers in the playoffs. I would love to see what this team can do as like a 6th seed where they have no home court advantage the entire time, but they're at full strength. I think that would be incredible to watch. Just from a storyline point of view, I don't particularly like the Lakers, but I do like watching them, and I don't even particularly like LeBron, but I do love watching him in the playoffs because the man does some insane, out of this world, inhumane carry job shit. And I would love to see what he can do with this team with no home court advantage throughout an entire series. Maybe he has some Akeem Olajuwon-esque playoff run, or maybe he loses to the Clippers in the first round. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to see what happens. I do hope the Lakers don't fall out all the way out of the playoffs due to the play-in, but even if they do, you got no one to blame except yourself, LeBron. You got no one to blame except yourself.